Yeah, been a really good week for us. An opportunity to continue to work on Alabama improving and really focused on some areas with our execution, making sure that we take care of the ball and really transition D and all the little things that we can control about improvement-wise. We've had some great position time. We've had some great film time, and I feel like we've done a really good job of making sure that the bye week gives us, a rest. We took off our regular rotation on Monday, and then we took Thursday to make sure that we're putting them in a position in the long term to be ready to go. So play a really good Ole Miss team. We have one common opponent, in Georgia. Definitely been at opposite ends of the spectrum from who we've played, so not a lot of crossover. So as you scout, you definitely it's an intriguing scout because of not much crossover yet. So excited about the opportunity to go to Ole Miss and play a really good team that's playing really, really good basketball right now.
Obviously, you had Brittany Davis and Megan Abrams. You got a little banged up at the end of the game. Well, it's not at the end of the game for Abrams, but do you have an update on them? And then also Jemiah, I know she's out with personal reasons. Do you have a timetable for her?
I do not have a timetable on Jemiah. I know that with Britt and Meg, we're taking it day to day and be a game time decision.
Before the bye week, you were talking about making sure Alabama stays consistent and improves their level each game. What have you guys done throughout the bye week to kind of reinforce that with film and practice?
Yeah, from film breakdown with individual sessions with their position coaches on, things that we continue to work with them on. One of the biggest areas, has just been what can we do to put ourselves in more of a position to minimize mistakes, the value of valuing each possession. That there's a big difference in playing against a set defense compared to a non-set defense. So that starts with making sure that, we can be as good on the execution end and then set our transition defense if it's a miss. And if it's a make, obviously we'll get an opportunity to set our press. So just all the little areas that we need to work on. We've really worked a lot in position play on our finishes. We were 9 of 23, at the rim against before the Auburn game. So from finishes to our execution and not giving up as many live ball turnovers. It's hard to defend a turnover. Usually it's an easy basket. So we have spent a lot of time on our film teaching individually and then collectively. We've gotten, a step ahead as far as the Ole Miss scout with our film on Wednesday. So I just love this team. I love who they're trying to be. I love their attention to detail, their understanding that, the margin for error in the SEC, it's a game of mistakes, and we have to minimize ours.
Coach, with this week, you've had the opportunity, obviously, to get some quality practice reps in with a week between games. What have you liked from what you've seen from your team throughout this week of practice?
Well, what I really like about this week of practice is we have our practice guys back. So, they just added another level of dimension to where we're able to really, really simulate who we're about to play. They bring size and quickness, and they can really shoot it. And I think it's very difficult when you're crimson versus white and you're trying to simulate, Auburn. And then you're trying to do what we want to do, and then the next group rotates. So I think just the biggest benefit we've seen this week is having our guys back to really prepare us and give us a true look and allowed our team to focus on what Alabama needs to do instead of our opponent. And during the holiday break, sometimes that becomes difficult because you turn your focus to how we need to be, and then you try to go simulate the defense for the next group, and then you rotate back. And so it's that fine line. So our practice guys have really given us, a whole nother dimension this week on limiting reps and really game-like reps.
Now, you kind of touched on it before, but Ole Miss has 3 double-digit scores. Just what is it like trying to defend a team that has such, scoring versatility all over the floor?
Well, it's pretty much the way it is every night in the SEC. So it's nothing new. Each and every team, the depth and the versatility on any given night, many can step up. So they definitely do have a big 3, but they also have really good depth. And, they've really benefited from the transfer portal. And so it's going to be a great opportunity for us. Again, Ole Miss is a team that benefits off live ball turnovers, and they benefit on missed shots and you not getting back in transition. So we have to make sure that the tempo is at the pace that we want as far as controlling that. Otherwise, it'll be difficult. So again, a really good team on their home floor in the SEC. It's been really interesting lately. I don't know if y'all realize it, but I think the SEC over the last 2 games, 11-0 on the road. That's wild. I don't ever remember being a part of the Big Ten, the Big 12, or the SEC and that happening. So it's really interesting to look across the men's and women's side on some of that right now in our league. It's interesting.
Kind of on that, obviously you guys had your first conference away game was Tennessee. Probably didn't go the way you guys wanted. Then against Auburn, what did you see between the 2 games?
Just what we felt like our preseason schedule had been put in place to play a lot of road games in some tough environments, and we did that. And so, the Tennessee game, Tennessee played great that day. They were dialed in. They were elite that day. When they're dialed in like that and they're elite and they're shooting the ball like they did, they're very difficult at home to win. I mean, they've won 500 games and lost 54. So, they're very difficult at home, and they were really dialed in that day, and kudos to those guys. They played great. Then you turn around and you use that experience going into Auburn on some things that we can improve. Our preparation, from our execution and our walkthrough to our film session the night before, and I felt like we did that. So, we have an opportunity now to go back on the road and build on last Sunday, and that's what I hope we see is consistency, more like the Auburn experience than obviously the Tennessee experience. So.
Kind of going off of that question, you guys have played a lot on the road. Just talk about how maybe resilient this team has been on the road, playing in such tough environments, and what you kind of want to see them take a step forward in that area.
Yeah, we put us in some situations in the preseason, some really good mid-major teams, because that's their game of the year in the preseason. And then a great crowd, a great environment. We felt like we simulated some environments that we would see in the SEC, especially different times. What we try to do too, Ashley, was not only just be a night game, but a 2:00 game, and put ourselves in a position. And obviously now, with the way we played a couple early games here, just the time frame on the routine, I think I know I am as a coach, just a routine creature. We like everything in its rotation and routine, and I feel like we've put our team in some of those environments early in the year that, depending on game time, we've been in. So I think that's helped us.
Coach, you talked a lot throughout the non-conference about setting your team up for success in this month of January. You're now halfway through the month, give or take. Big opportunity on Sunday against Ole Miss. What are the things you want to see your team do to be successful and close out the important month of January successfully?
Well, I think just continue to get better, each and every day. It's where our preparation, I think, I think you create with preparation and the opportunity that we have in front of us this week. We've prepared, the opportunity, it can equal success. And so that's how we tried to approach the kids, is to get better every single day, and what is within our control. And I feel like they're doing that every single day, from their shooting times to their film time to their team film time to, the practice and the preparation, and how we're putting them in a position to be challenged in a game-like environment with minimal reps to make sure that we're also fresh and ready to go. I think that's the fine line right now this time of year.
Obviously, you said Davis and Abrams are game times, but if they're not able to go, or if they're able to go but maybe not 100%, what are you going to look from the rest of the team to kind of mitigate those injuries?
I think we've been in that situation some this year already, with Carly being out, with Aaliyah being out. I think that this team, no matter what we're faced with, that someone else always steps up. So I guarantee you that this group will rise to the challenge, and that's part of the game right now. You see that across the country, whether it's an injury, a sickness, a personal situation where kids aren't able to be there. So I think at this juncture, I feel really confident in whoever is in a Crimson jersey at Ole Miss will be ready to roll tide and do the very best that they can, because I have a lot of confidence in them.